is Wallace Stevens?
Wallace Stevens was a modernist American poet. He was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, educated at Harvard and the New York Law School. He spent most of his life working as an executive for an insurance company in Hartford, Connecticut. He then later on won the Pulitzer Prize in 1903. After all his collections of poems in 1955, later on he met Elsie Viola. After graduating from Harvard, Wallace Stevens moved to New York City to begin his writing career, from which he graduated in 1903. He married Elsie in 1909, and they lived in New York over the course of 2 decades. Once the two got married, his parents did not approve, so since then he had no connection with his family or parents. Many of Wallace Stevens' greatest poems were written well after he turned 50, according to the literacy of Harold Bloom. Helen Valenda stated that there are 3 distinctive moods present in Stevens' writings: ecstasy is 1, apathy is the 2nd, and reluctance the 3rd. She then later stated that a lot of his poems were influenced by the painter Paul Klee. Paul Klee was a Swiss and German artist, best known for his Cubanism, Expressionism, and Surrealism.
For example, in the poem Sunday Morning, it is about a woman who is frightened by the thought of death when she hears church bells. The poet initially appreciates the woman's rational thoughts as she refuses to accept the romantic of Christian afterlife, as you can see right here.
I perceive Sunday Morning a little different than others. I believe Stevens put his thoughts and worries onto paper as the woman in the poem because he's afraid of the afterlife as the woman due to his obstacles of his parents not accepting him and his wife. This causes him to be worried about the afterlife and what it has for him. Also believe he is trying to give the reader a different outlook
I think Stevens is questioning the reader as to what would life be without darkness.
In this poem, the imagery clearly suggests acceptance of death as a part of life. Also, the alliteration of the words downward and darkness brings Sunday Morning to a peaceful close.
The beginning of the poem starts with cigars, as you see here, and ice cream being made.
In the poem, The Empire of Ice Cream, it starts with cigars and ice cream being made in which preparation for the funeral or perhaps in a wake. Later in the poem, we realize that it is a she that died but does not give much information about the woman, other than that she likes to sew and her dresser is missing some knobs. Wallace calls for a lamp to be lit and to remind us that the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream.
About death and loss. He uses bizarre imagery to avoid sentimentality, as we can see in lines 6 and 7, stanza 2. It says, if her horny feet protrude, they come to show how cold she is and dumb.
Later on in 1955, August 2nd, the poet Wallace Stevens passed away at St. Francis's Hospital. Stevens made one of the biggest impacts on poetry together. I hope you enjoyed learning about Wallace Stevens as much as I did. Thank you.